Tonight on Speakeasy, we're going to take a look at jazz in Dixieland. And let's start off by listening to the legends of jazz. Barry Martyn is the leader. He's on drums. Alton Purnell is on piano. Leo DeJan is trumpet. Adolphus Morris on bass. Sam Lee clarinet. And John Ewing on trombone. The Dukes of Dixieland, credited by jazz greats for bringing back the popularity of Dixieland music, was the #1 Dixieland jazz combo in the nation from the mid-50s to the early 70s. The heart of the Dukes of Dixieland were Freddie and Frank Assunto. They began their musical education as youngsters, sitting in on jam sessions with their dad, Papa Jac, and his musician friends. On the recommendation of these musicians, the Assunto brothers entered the Horace Height Talent Contest in 1949 and won. Their junior Dixieland band was also invited by the New Orleans Symphony to perform at their 1949 summer concert series. When the Assunto brothers decided to go professional, they looked around for a name for their band that sounded both professional and royal. Their mother came up with the Dukes, and so the Dukes of Dixieland were on their way. In 1954, a local drummer gave the brothers a copy of a song he had written entitled Bourbon Street Parade. The Dukes recorded this song, and due to its extreme popularity, RCA Victor asked them to cut their first album called At the Jazz Ball. The Dukes performed on all the top TV shows of the decade, including Ed Sullivan, Gary Moore, The Tonight Show, Mike Douglas, Steve Allen, and many others. But the reign of the Dukes ended in sadness. In 1966, Freddie Assunto died at the untimely age of 36. This affected the heart of the band, and in 1974, Brother Frank passed away at the age of 42. Though the reign of the Dukes of Dixieland has ended, they have left behind a rich musical legacy, including over 30 albums and a deep sense of what Dixieland music is all about. Papa Jac Assunto, who is quite a gentleman, is here, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his experiences as one of the founders of the Dukes of Dixieland. Welcome.
Thank you,
for coming.
It's nice to be here.
Mama Joe,
Thank
who
you.
has to be here for Papa Jac, right?
Right.
That's right.
Earlier we found out a little bit about the Dukes of Dixieland and how they got started. So you have quite a lot of memories of those days.
Oh, yeah, we've got quite a few memories. They started playing when they were in elementary school. They were in the school band. Then on Saturdays, a bunch of the kids would get together on our porch, and they'd play the marches that they used to play, that they rehearsed with the school band, but they would jazz them up all the time. And we had jam sessions over at the house. Frank would always go in the back. He was supposed to be studying. But his grades didn't reflect that, because while he was supposed to be studying, he had his horn out, playing along with the older professional men who were playing in the front room.
Well, he was studying. He was studying.
He was studying trumpet, naturally. But that's how they actually got started.
Yes. And the three of you became the Dukes of Dixieland.
Well, they started out, let Mom tell you about that, because she was the one who devised the name.
Okay. Tell us about Frank and Freddie.
Well, you know, Frank started when he was about 16. He formed a little group he called the Basin Street 4 or 5 or 6, according to the number of musicians or kids who would show up that particular Saturday night. And after that, he'd walk Bourbon Street at night. They'd have to kick him out. You know, he was so young, he wasn't allowed in the street. He'd just stand in the doorway and listen to the various groups playing there. But finally, Horace Height came to town, and he and the famous Pete Fountain and Freddie formed a little group, and they entered the competition. They called themselves the Junior Dixieland Jazz Band. Well, they won it, and after they toured with Height for a few months, he tried to persuade them to sign a contract, but we wouldn't consent to it because they had to finish school. They were still in high school. They got back home and they said they wanted to go professional. But we didn't like that name. They thought they were too old to have just they were no longer juniors. So we hemmed and hawed, and his idol was Sharky Banana, whose band was called the Kings of Dixieland, and they wanted something royal. So we thought of nice. Finally, I came up with, how about the Dukes?
Beautiful.
So the Dukes of Dixieland.
And that's how they
And
got
they called
the
themselves the
name.
Royal Family of Jazz. And that's how they got the name.
Beautiful. It's quite an honor for me to have Papa Jac here and playing and sharing some of that old music with us.
Well, I enjoyed being here immensely.
Thank you
I
very
was
much.
looking forward to it when I found out that we were going to be here. I was really looking forward to being here.
Beautiful.
And I hope my friends all over the country decide to see this program.
Oh, I hope so too. It's going to be beautiful.